I would go on vacation and I'd get out of the car every year almost just crying because I just was like heartsick about something that had happened because the industry just was so the opposite of like where my values were. And when we came back and opened the company and started the podcast, it was, right after we interviewed this franchise broker who he had asked to see our course, and we showed it to him. And he's like, wow, like you have a lot of information here. This is going to help someone. Have you ever thought about being a franchise? And both Andre and I were like, what? Like, what? No, we're going to help people open their own brokerages. Like, loan officers who are looking for a new home. Yeah, maybe it'll be with us, but maybe they want to open their own place and we want to help them because that's not what anyone ever does. Nobody's ever done it. No, right. And so it was in 2021 last year that I got to the same vacation we go to every year. And I remember because I texted Andre and our leadership team and I just thanked them. It was the first time I was like relaxed, happy, like all that. And I like thought for a second, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I remember last year when I was so upset and things were not great. I remember my father saying to me, you need to talk to your brother, Chris, because Chris gets, he takes 6 weeks of vacation a year. He's never stressed out. And I'd always be like, whatever, screw Chris. Like, I don't need to talk to Chris. He's got his own business, whatever. Well, this year when my dad and I are talking and I'm like, things are going so well, all of a sudden it just hit me. And I was like, oh my gosh, Chris owns a franchise. Chris owns an insurance agency that is this national name that he got to step into and didn't have to go through all these things that we had to figure out. He didn't have to waste all this money that we've wasted trying to figure out which system to use. He had the manuals. He knew how to hire people, not to hire these people, like everything that we finally now have.
Right.
And it was a turning point for me. And it was like the moment that I understood what a franchise did. A franchise isn't, you don't own these other businesses. You're just helping them, but you're continuing to help them. And as you grow, as you're, as the core business that built it all and you've handed it away so they can use it. And as you keep improving it and keep making it better, you're bringing all these other people with you so that they have an opportunity that they otherwise would not have been able to have.
Right. And so when you talk about the course, that course is actually showing, let's say, a loan officer how they can build their own brokerage like you did, but do it on the fast track because you have now put it in a course that allows them to do it much faster, much more efficiently, right?
That's
and
correct.
Without as much money out of pocket.
Correct. Yep.
And so there is this movement in the industry for, let's say, realtors, real estate brokerages to have a mortgage entity, and they're not quite, they're just missing it. So like go a little bit deeper on how this is different than what we're hearing about with these national real estate companies having mortgage brokerages.
Yeah. And I think it once again comes down to doing what's right for other people. So it's not a natural progression as a mortgage brokerage. Like as mortgage business owners, the natural progression is you're a broker and then you become a correspondent, right? Which means you start lending your own money. And what that does is you can make more money. So as owners, that's how we would make more money. And I think it could eventually lead to our loan officers. But once again, we're sitting here going, no, because then it limits what we offer our customers. Like we just didn't feel right about it. So we built the course to help loan officers. And the courses probably would have gotten released at the end of last year until we decided to do the brokerage. And I think it will help. It will equally help loan officers who want their own brokerage. And it's also going to help real estate agents and real estate brokers who right now we're trying to get business from, right? That's what feeds our, you'd think, okay, why would you want to teach them how to do something? Because then how are you going to get business, right? So it goes against the whole grain of like, why are you going to teach them what you're doing? But the big dogs in the industry, the big ones out there. When you look at all across the country, you've got your, you've got EXP, you've got your Keller Williams, your Coldwell Bankers. In real estate, you've got on the mortgage side, your big companies are Guaranteed Rate, Quicken,
Loan Depot,
Movement
Zillow's in
Mortgage.
the business.
Yep. Yeah. So these big dogs, they know what's coming. They have that ability because that's what they focus on. It's business development. And they know right now, real estate company margins are starting to shrink with all these models. And so the traditional models in brokerages out there they're losing commission structures that you've got, all these things going on. So what these big dogs did, which we didn't even realize at the time, was I would say it's an offensive move, not even just defensive, but it's offensive. They knew that eventually all these real estate companies would start wanting to have the mortgage piece, the title piece. So what they did was they went and they started forming joint ventures, right? So a big real estate owner and a big mortgage owner would go form a joint venture together, because the mortgage side is one of the most profitable pieces of the mortgage pie.
Right.
And they're forming that's what started happening. They're happening all over the place. So now there's these joint ventures going on. Well, yeah, that's good because, it's combining it, but who is it good for? You've got two big executives who already make a lot of money, who have joined together and formed this company that now are making millions of dollars. But what about the person who owns the Keller Williams franchise? It doesn't help them. It doesn't help the individual real estate agents whose boots are on the ground, getting the customers, helping the customers, answering their phones at 10 o'clock at night. It doesn't help any of those people who are in our communities and who I feel are the people that are looking for ways to have the life they've always wanted, right? Even if it's just a little bit.
Right.
And so that's all we saw out there. That was it. And what a lot of people don't know is that when a big mortgage company and a big real estate company form, you can't just bring other people into it. There are laws and rules. You cannot bring people in as owners. They're employees, period. End of story, nothing else. And so we started looking and we're like, brokerages like the Keller Williams or the independents out there could open a brokerage because it doesn't have the same rules with it. You don't need a lot of money to do it. You just need the know-how. And you can start it as a small business owner. You can own it with your real estate agents. You could own it with a loan officer. So they just need the know-how. And we have the know-how.